You're listening to Binging the Devil's Fruit, a One Piece manga read-through podcast where sometimes during the binge we take a break, kick back, and put on a movie or TV special. And sometimes we even bring along friends. Hello everybody, and welcome back to Binging the Devil's Fruit. This is episode 23, although that episode order might be messed up now because of the One Piece Netflix show we'll be reviewing. I am your host, Sean Mugiwara JM, joined as always by my co-host, Dad Peanut.
Hey!
And once again, just like last episode, we have a guest with us in the form of Rudy. What's the official title? Is it Root Beer Cutie Booty? Which one is it?
Root Beer Cutie Booty, but everyone calls me Rudy.
Yep, that's what I'll be doing. So welcome, Rudy, to Binging the Devil's Fruit for the first time.
Thank you so much for having me. You guys have no idea how excited I am.
Yeah,
good to have you on.
I've talked to you before about how you've been reading manga recently, but you mentioned you were watching One Piece. How much of One Piece have you seen?
I'm still, unfortunately, on season 1, but I want to say, okay, so I grew up during the dreaded era of 4Kids.
No. And so does everybody else that's been on here.
So unfortunately, my first introduction to One Piece was that. But then I was seeing people saying One Piece is actually better, and I started doing a little research. I'm like, this actually does look much better. And then when I read the manga, I'm like, yeah, this is better. I can see why this has run for so long and why people love it so much. The 4Kids did not do it justice, but that's to be expected.
No.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I had to hear the 4Kids dub again because I recently procured a copy of One Piece Grand Battle for PS2. The game is incredible, but when I tell you how bad the 4Kids dub is, I immediately went to eBay to look up for the Japanese version.
I feel bad for the people who were in that dub originally because, they had no idea.
Yeah, far be it for me to judge the actors. I think it was all poor direction, and
totally not their fault.
Because actually, a lot of the 4Kids voice actors on the One Piece 4Kids dub have actually gone on to voice in the current dub too.
Oh, that's awesome!
Oh wow!
Yeah, they've gotten they picked up roles in the because 4Kids kind of disappeared and they were based in New York and many of them moved to LA or Texas. So I can name a couple of them that have actually been in the current dub now. So it's so they got to redeem themselves. Yeah. I did think it would have been funny if, actually, that's a spoiler for later. I won't say that. But yeah, so you said you're basically on season 1. So I'm guessing the East Blue Saga?
Yeah, where Luffy is starting.
Well, you're in luck because the TV special I asked you to be a guest on is right after it's over. Oh, okay. And it's a non-canon television special. Okay. Oh, yeah, speaking of which, I never said what we're reviewing today. We're reviewing the first television special, one of a couple that never aired in America. And this one is special 1, Luffy Falls, Adventure in the Uncharted Ocean's Navel. Ooh. And so way back in One Piece's heyday, they would do television specials at the end of the year. Instead of doing when the year closes and then they'll do a special to cap it off and then they'll continue the next season the next year or something. And this is the first one. Now, I have not watched any of these since I was in high school, just like the early One Piece movies. Ooh. So I'm not sure what I'm exactly in for, although my expectation is it's going to feel like a longer episode of the show, honestly. What about you guys?
Yeah, that sounds like what it's going to be. It's going to be
it doesn't sound like it's a movie per se. It sounds more like just, an extended special. I remember, a lot of shows have done that before. So it's not really a movie. It's just an extended episode.
Yeah, I'm sure there are, long-running shows that will have a holiday special to close out the year, and then they'll come back with regular episodes once the thing starts back up in the new year. Oh yeah, that's basically what this is. So I don't think there's much more to say than that, unless anyone has anything to add.
No.
All right,
nothing I can think of.
Well, why don't we dive into the Ocean's Navel?
I'm excited. Let's do it.
Oh God.
That sounds dirtier the more I say about saying it out loud.
Of all the
We're
words
hopping
to
off the segment now. And if you want to hear our commentary while we watch it, our commentary tracks are on our Patreon, and if you don't feel like dropping $3 on it, we just introduced a free trial portion where you can try out our exclusives before they charge you. So we have commentary tracks for all of our reviews. Our reviews will always be free, and also you get access to episodes a week beforehand. So with that being said, let's hop in.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
And that was Luffy Falls Adventure in the Ocean's Naval TV Special Review 1.
Sure was something.
And, yeah, it sure was.
Yeah, it was something.
That sure was a one long filler arc and made into one episode.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I never went over the formula for how this went. Generally, I do what you guys do with your podcast, where we just like give a brief summary of what happened. So, do either of you want to go first? It doesn't matter
I'll
to me.
go first. So,
yep, you're our guest. May as well.
Let's guess.
we get a little backstory. We see this pirate with his crew, and they find some sort of treasure. Now, we don't know what this treasure is. It's just like glowing red. It's behind this little waterfall. But as the pirate like goes to get the treasure, his crew betrays him. Like four freaking swords go through this dude, like simultaneously.
Holy shit.
Etu Joke.
Yeah, it was just like, I mean, you kind of had a feeling something was going to happen just because it was like all dark and creepy, but it was just like, yeah, we're just going to stab you with multiple massive long swords. So, yeah, this pirate ends up dying, and then we switch over to Luffy and his crew. And
yeah, Usopp's just doing some handiwork with
tinkering away
with his ammo. Sanji's just a mind of view, so is asleep.
And Luffy is he's really living out that one lyric from the Chumbawamba song. Pissing the night away.
Yeah,
which annoys. He's supposed to be fishing, but Nami berates him because no one wants fish sauteed in his piss.
And he's like, it'll be fine. It's like, no, it will not be fine. That's gross.
What? Who doesn't want creme de la pie?
But then he catches something, or at least he thinks he catches something.
Yeah, and it somehow works because he's using sponges as bait. And he starts dragging the rope fiercely, like Jesus has a long fucking rope.
Yeah, it's a lot of rope.
Probably all the rope they had.
Probably, but alas, it is not a fish. It is a rock. Somehow, I guess it got caught on the rock, and they find a treasure chest. Luffy, being the dumbass that he is, he tries to eat it, and then he's like, "Oh man, I can't eat this." He decides to try to throw it back into the ocean, except Nami goes after it.
She can't help herself.
Yeah, she loves her treasure.
Nope. Yeah, however, others is a skull. And she tosses it to Usopp, who's just as petrified. But on the back of the skull is an engraving about a treasure that can make anyone's dream come true, and it's written by someone by the name of
Captain Joke.
Mm-hmm. And when they feel a current starting to pull, they see a big ass hole in the middle of the ocean, sucking in water. It's called the ocean's navel.
Yeah, it's not even a typhoon. It's just a hole in the water.
Yeah, like how the hell is that possible?
Magic.
There's an in-lore reason. Like watching this, having caught up to where the series is now, and seeing some of the things get revealed later, I cannot go into detail about why I think that was there. But in hindsight, I'm like, oh, you could make that argument why that's why that's there.
And
so that was my thought. For anybody caught up, currently, you guys probably are thinking the same thing I'm thinking.
So what happens is they like have some sort of, it's kind of like a submarine, or it might be like a bathoscope. I'm not exactly sure, but they send down Usopp, Nami, and Sanji. Luffy is working the machine, and as they go down, they come across like, I guess, like a little pocket or something. And they're like, "What is this?" And it turns out there is a what do you call it? It's a ship graveyard.
Ship graveyard.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently a monster.
Yeah, they went down with their barrel scope, let's call it, because it was a bathoscope made out of a barrel.
Yeah. That's probably a better thing to call it.
And we were wondering, wait, why didn't you send Luffy down? I'm like, well, him in water, probably a bad idea. But even worse idea, they trusted him with bringing it up and down.
Yeah. It's like, you guys chose the absolute worst person to trust in this situation.
Yeah, sadly plan B wasn't ideal either, so they just I guess they just flipped a coin. It's like, okay, this one's not as bad.
It's the only one we got. And then they find this random bat down here that can talk, and it's telling them about the treasure, but it also turns out, surprise, surprise, there's a sea monster down there, a massive ass kraken.
Yeah. And this laughing bat who...
It's kind of annoying after a while.
I don't know. Yeah, especially his laugh.
He looks strangely familiar, too.
Yes, he does. Hint, hint. Nudge, nudge.
Yeah, they back in... Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
And, let's see. I got the Wikipedia open.
You have the One Piece fandom wiki article? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I have that, too, just in case.
Yeah, we literally just watched it and we can't remember it.
And
yeah, you guys can get a pretty good idea of what our score is going to be by the time we're done talking, but we're going to give it a fair shake anyway.
We're trying.
Yeah, and finally, as promised, Luffy can't pull it back up because he was distracted with his finger caught in a message in a bottle.
Yeah, he sees a bunch of the flying clue bottles from Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus appear, and he sticks his finger in one of them.
Literally, there's a bunch of glass bottles with notes to them attached to. What are they attached to?
They were attached to parachutes. I think.
And they just float up.
Yeah, conveniently from the same hole that they all went down.
Yeah, and finally, Sanji, who's just been in the bed the whole time, he doesn't even know there's a giant squid monster until he finally pokes his head out.
Yeah, he's been distracted by what else is in there with him.
Yep, and as the monster begins pulling on the barrel, he also pulls the ship down with them. I'm dragging Zoro and Luffy down with them.
Speaking of Zoro, he finally wakes up.
He's been asleep this whole time.
Yeah, and how does he get the bottle off of Luffy's finger? Then to cut it off.
Nearly chops it off, but Luffy, I think, miraculously by cartoon logic, out of fear, pulls it out of the bottle anyway.
Because Zoro gets an axe, and the finger's like, nope, screw this, and comes out of the bottle.
Which I caught on a little bit afterwards. I'm like, oh, he picked up an axe, not his swords.
Oh,
you know what? I think this takes place after the Arlong Park arc, where they were it was definitely after the Baradier, where they were destroyed. So he doesn't have it. Remember? Oh yeah, he had to borrow swords to fight Hachi in Arlong Park, so he doesn't have them anymore. Well, he has one still, but he forgot the one he keeps.
The one thing he's good at, and he forgets it.
Yeah. I mean, he is not only does there's several things that Zoro are good at, and they are fighting with swords, sleeping, getting drunk, and getting lost. We all know which one he employed this time.
So Sanji manages to just kick the octopus. At first, it looks like it's dead. That is, but then it starts squeezing the life out of him, but then the Golden Mary just drops right on top of the freaking octopus, killing it. And
after Sanji tried and failed.
Yeah. And suddenly they cut back to the captain's skeletal remains after his crew betrayed him. And suddenly he gains a hand, I think it was.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know. He gained his shoe first, and then his hand later.
Shoes, then his hands.
Yeah, why not a piece of his flesh? Why one of his articles of clothing? That's so weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then, let's see. Oh, yeah, now I remember. We finally also pick up, as Santi is exhausted, he lets Nami and Usopp go on ahead to find the treasure. And we finally find out who's sending out all these bottles. This child named Hamu.
Yeah. Hamu, yeah.
Yeah, Hamu. And who's just sending out a bunch of bottles in the hopes that someone will come find them and come help them. But this guardian, Maroi,
I think it's called.
Maroi, okay.
Or Maroi. And yes, I said this during the commentary. I was like, "Is that she's voiced by Pikachu?"
Yep. You can tell.
Yeah. Ikue Otani. Well, yeah, because I've heard her throughout this entire series. She's the official voice of Chopper. She's also the Japanese voice of Morgana in Persona 5.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah, and of course her biggest role is Pikachu because people outside Japan hear that voice. But yeah, I could tell right away.
And suddenly the bell in his little fort starts ringing. And when they open the hatch door to the bottom, they see Zoro and tugging on the rope to the bell as he holds Luffy, who already passed out due to his curse of the Devil's Fruit.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So yeah, these two people saved them. But then wait, no. The next monster doesn't come to fight them.
Yeah, the soy bug.
They feed them, but when they reveal that they're pirates, Hamu gets really upset, and the girl explains why their village was ravaged by the pirate who we saw at the beginning. Him and his crew just completely and totally destroyed this village. They never recovered, and Hamu's mother was the chief. She went to face him herself, and she didn't come back. And then this is when... Wait, no. Hang on. I'm trying to remember. Did they save Hamu and the girl from the monster before? Yeah, they did. Yeah.
I think that, yeah, they did. Before they got recruited to Meal, they fought a Neptunian, why not Zoidberg?
And
as Jad put it in the commentary.
Yeah.
It was a kaiju.
Yeah, and then I think the monster attacks again because I remember they have to go up the mountain and Zoro stays behind to fight, doesn't he?
Yeah, they fight each of the monsters that they have to encounter at least twice.
Yeah, Luffy runs up to the mountain while Zoro's fighting the giant lobster, and Hamu runs after Luffy as well. And let's see. Yeah, I got the wiki, and yeah, it's tricky because the only swords you can find are all rusted and brittle.
Because he forgot his swords.
Well, he forgot one of them. Two of the Hawkeye Mihawk broke them in his fight with him at the Bradier. He had to borrow a couple in Arlong Park. He still has the one that Kuina, his childhood friend, gave him. That one, without spoiling it, I'm not spoiling anything by saying this. He never breaks that one, but his other swords, they're broken. So he hasn't bought. Wow, it's okay. This is after the Rogue Town arc, so he buys new ones after this in the timeline.
Okay, and thankfully Shanti shows up and delivers the final blow. Oh, and then he starts hitting on Maroi.
Yeah, he. Of course. What ran through my mind, I didn't say anything. It's like I feel like I'm 12 and watching Pokemon again. I'm watching Brock hit on Nurse Joy.
And it's really small, but really pretty.
And for the first time, I think in series ever, Zoro was jealous of him hitting on the girl.
Because I think Maroi was into him.
Seriously?
And then he got jealous.
Yeah, I mean, can you blame her?
No.
Zoro and Sanji fight over literally everything except women. Like, those two will fight over literally fucking anything, but never over a crush on a girl.
Yeah.
Like, he'll pick on him for being for thinking with his dick instead of his brain, but never out of jealousy.
So then we go back to what are their names? The
Nami and
Usopp, yeah. And they find out they have to defeat another monster, but they go up these steps to the cave. And when they get to the cave, the last monster reveals itself, and it's a giant urchin that's like moving on its spikes.
Yeah, it's like a puzzle it reminds me of that column of spikes from Devil May Cry 3 where it's just spinning around and you have to like wait till it goes around to avoid it.
Yeah, so this massive urchin is chasing them. And they're freaking out. And like Nami gets mad because she was like, Usopp, I told you to jump. Why did you jump back into the cave? But in his defense, he was really confused and there was a lot going on.
Yeah.
And let's see. Oh, yeah. That's when they run into Luffy and Hamu, and they end up in a dead end. And Luffy seeing a bunch of skeleton and the bones of a bunch of pirates who came before them. It's like, oh, what happened to these guys? It's like, put two and two together, Luffy. Jesus.
Oh, Luffy, at least you can fight. It's a good thing they don't rely on you for intelligence.
No, that's why they have Nami.
She has the one brain cell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially when that urchin is about to just run into them, but Luffy does the gum balloon, it was called, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and he somehow, even though with all those funny quills, Luffy doesn't get stabbed.
No, he does like a bunch. He has like shock absorption whenever he does that. Does the balloon. But he's susceptible to piercing though, which is weird.
Yeah, it did. Surprisingly, it didn't like destroy his body.
No, because he's invulnerable to gunshots because they won't pierce him. But like, maybe the spikes have the same properties as like bullets, so maybe that's why it didn't work. I don't know. This is a non-canon special. Who cares?
We have no idea.
And then Usopp, Nami, and Hamu run under the sea urchin to run away, but the sea urchin starts chasing after Hamu after Usopp and Nami manage to get it up faster. Oh yeah, because at first Hamu was scared because something about Nakama, whatever it was called.
I have to address the elephant in the room.
Yeah, you have to explain this because we do not understand.
The One Piece fandom really became obsessed with Nakama being an actual word that's specific to the One Piece world, when really it's just a generic term for close friend, crewmate. But it really kind of it just gets on my nerve. Like, according to Japanese with anime.com, which I seriously doubt the sourcing and credibility of this, it's like it's a Japanese word that means someone who's in the same group as you or is close. But like, you could just say a crewmate or a friend, which the dub does. So that if you're wondering if there's a deeper hidden meaning there isn't one. It's just the fandom claiming ownership to a word when they really don't need to.
Yeah, and
it's a controversy in the fandom.
Yeah, they repeat it a lot.
Yeah. So anyway, Hamu, who is scared that he'll die without friends, but Luffy tells him that if he wants friends, he has to show them his strength first.
And that's enough to get him to run under the urchin.
And hold on for dear life, which I thought that's what he was doing. No, he's squeezing their spikes off.
Yeah. One by one, he's destroying the urchin.
Mm-hmm. Because he urgently needs to do so before they all die.
Mm-hmm.
and in the room where the treasure and Joke's skeletal remains are, we find out that Joke is the talking bat now.
Which we all figured out about 15 minutes ago. We figured that out.
Turns out the only way to reanimate his body is by killing awful monsters.
They also don't explain this at all.
No, they didn't.
No, and Usopp and Nami arrive, but before they head for the treasure, the bat tries to trick them to thinking that they had to defeat the final monster before they can get it. And that's when the final monster rolls in. All its clothes are now missing as Luffy manages to just squeeze them all off.
He breaks out the last one and then ultimately killing it.
Mm-hmm. And let's see, and and however, before Nami and Usopp can go after the treasure, Oak's skeletal remains are reanimated.
And he shoots them both.
Mm-hmm. In the back.
I don't know how they survived that. Like, Usopp, I can imagine, and since I guess the skull would have deflected... No, the skull wouldn't have deflected the blows. What the fuck?
Usopp's probably been shot at enough times to survive that. And Nami, how many years of her life has she spent robbing from pirates? She's probably been through some shit too. So they probably built the resistance up to being shot.
Yeah, so what happens is like the two of them are...
Joke tries to get the treasure, but Hamu jumps him, insistent... And he knows he can't win, but he's still gonna fight.
Yeah.
And that's when Joke realizes who his mother was and
starts taunting him.
Yeah. Even shows her death through his penance stare, which he can now do.
Yeah, he does the Ghost of the Rider penance stare.
Yeah, and as he's back near the treasure, before they can fight, Hamu begs his mom to give him her courage, and the treasure starts glowing deep blue like it's granting his wish. And before they both lunge at each other, and it turns out Joke was restrained by both Luffy, Nami, and Usopp, while Hamu just rams his sword right between his head.
And that kills him, like, completely. Totally, he's dead. No coming back.
Which also means the treasure's gone, much to Nami's displeasure.
Yep.
And she's now afraid to take it out on a kid.
She's
like,
furious.
Jesus.
But they don't really...
She's not afraid of beating up children, let's be real.
Yeah, they don't really explain... what the treasure is, because we don't see it again at all.
Well, not necessarily.
Oh, wait, that's true.
But they
right.
Yeah, but basically what we're implied to believe is like a wish granter, and then when Hamu was backing up fighting against Joke, he unwittingly used a wish as he approached it. So that means you just have to be within a certain distance to use it. I don't know. It's like Rudy said, they don't explain it.
There's no explanation whatsoever.
We have a 45-minute runtime and it's the end of the year. Just get the ball rolling. Or they did, but they broke off all the spikes of it.
And it seems... And then things get anticlimactic. Suddenly, they just tie a bunch of sailors who help the ship run the wind current up out the navel, and
they're gone.
Hamu realizes they never asked for the names.
He literally says, I never knew their names. After all that fighting, it's like, you know what? I never got their names. Really, my brother? Really?
And Moroi is like, who cares? They're pirates.
They just saved us from a bunch of monsters.
To that I go, who cares? And to that end, I say, who cares? You guys are filler characters you'll never see again.
Yeah, that's a great attitude to have about the special. Who cares?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Then
the red glowing thing in the treasure reappears.
Yeah, that was more confusing than the rest of his life.
Too, because see, at the end we see that the whatever that treasure was, it appears again, and the monsters that they killed
also appeared again. We have no idea how any of this works. They explain nothing.
Does it work like the Dragon Balls, but slightly faster?
Maybe?
Because like the Dragon Balls, you use them, and then they're inert for like, I don't know, a couple of years or so, and then they work again. This was not even 10 minutes.
Yeah.
No, this wasn't even 5.
They didn't explain anything, and it's just kind of left everybody really frustrated. Like, I felt frustrated. It's like, y'all can explain any of that at all? Not even like a little bit?
Nope, 45-minute runtime, and the animation budget was running out. Screw it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I don't think this was the best One Piece has to offer. If I'm gonna be competing,
no, definitely not.
No, I remember some of the later ones being a lot better, but I mostly remember the movies. So, yeah. So, before we get into our final thoughts of what we think of the special, we have to go through the categories to categorically break down how we thought about this special. So those categories start with who was the MVP, which is short for most valuable pirate. And Rudy, since you are our guest, who do you were going first? Who do you think was the most valuable pirate in the special?
I think it was my husbando. I think it was Zoro because he's the only one who really did anything. Like him and Sanji were the most active in this.
Oh yeah.
And I guess Austen will go next.
Okay, so mine might surprise you, Hamu.
Really?
Yeah, I mean he killed the main villain, and he actually came around on finding courage, and I mean, I was surprised too.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. He dealt the final blow, and he got to use the MacGuffin. So, shit, I hate you for taking this now. Fuck you. Which means my answer is going to go to Luffy. He actually successfully killed the monster in one try.
That's true, he did.
Yeah, so like there's kind of an unwritten rule. You can't take the same category as somebody else. So you can steal one from someone and not know it, which Austen did. Fuck you. But you know what? I didn't think about it at the time. I was like, no, the kid really did kill the villain. All right, so that was the most valuable pirate. Who does everyone think was the least valuable? Austen, you go first.
Let's see, who contributed the less out of this special? Does it have to be a pirate?
No, it could be anybody in the special. But it just has that name because of the
Maroi then.
Fuck you again.
2 for 2,
but
baby.
I would agree, but my answer's different.
Hang on. Let me explain my reasoning.
He has to give his reason. Then you're next.
She didn't contribute anything to this special. She just told Hamu to give up, and she told Luffy and Zoro to leave immediately as soon as she found out they were pirates. And once it was all over, and they're still pirates. Who cares?
They saved your life, you ungrateful broad.
So therefore, that solidifies Austen's answer. If it's not Maroi, well, if I can't pick Maroi, I want to, but anyway, Usopp just basically ran. He didn't get to use any of his attacks or anything like that. He basically was the comic relief, like, I'm scared. He basically is like Zenitsu when he's awake.
Yeah, basically.
I was kind of waiting for like somebody to knock him out and go to sleep. I'm like, wait, this is the wrong anime.
He's not blonde.
Usopp eventually finds his courage when things get hairy, but he never did this time.
It was at that tail end.
So Usopp, fuck you.
Okay.
All right, Rudy, it's your turn to pick the least valuable
Captain
pirate.
Joke. I am sorry. He was such a boring villain. He was so lame. Yeah. He didn't really do anything. He was just there.
Yeah, we have a category for the villain, but I'll let you have it since we were you're our guest.
He was boring.
All right, so then next. Sorry, I didn't realize you weren't done.
He was just really boring and really disappointing.
Okay, so we'll revisit this in a future segment. So next is the best scene in the anime, or the special. So, Rudy, once again, you're our guest. Okay. You go first. What was the best scene in the special?
I think it was when Sanji got out of the little submarine and delivered a really powerful kick to the Kraken. I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. Caused a dent in its head.
Yeah, and he only did it because he wanted to protect his lady love, Nami. But I thought it was sweet, but also just shows how freaking powerful he is.
Yeah, he's among the monster trio of the crew.
Okay, who's next?
I'm gonna go next. The best scene, Hamu killing Joke.
Oh yeah, that was good.
There, got you back, bitch. I was just, as the special was wrapping, I was like, oh okay, and I was like, oh, this is actually a cool scene. Finally, something worth watching in this, and I'm like, okay, the companion kid character that most filler anime have where they do nothing. No, this kid dealt the blow. He successfully avenged his mother. Hell yeah!
They actually gave him a fulfilling end to his arc, and you don't always see that in these types of specials.
Yeah, the filler character had an arc, beginning, middle, and end, and yeah, he met it. All right, Austen, now you have to try and come up with one to follow up that up.
Thankfully, I had a backup. So when they fight the giant kaiju Zoidberg,
the lobster,
and Zoro grabs a harpoon to black his claw and his bicep swells up all beefy.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was a good scene.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And Maroi was just blushing and staring and same girl.
Yeah,
same.
we were making jokes that Maroi was me and Chad because we both love Zoro.
And then next is the worst scene, and I'm going first. Luffy peeing.
Oh yeah, that was gross. That was just nasty. We did not need to see that. Come on, man.
And it had the same sound effect as a bathtub being filled. That made it worse.
So gross. It was so nasty. Am I next?
Yes. Let me. Who went after? Yeah, you know what, Rudy, go ahead.
I'm trying to think. The worst.
The worst scene.
Honestly, I think when at the end where they said, who cares? They're pirates. I'm like,
you're so mine.
Two for two.
That's why I love these reviews.
Okay, but first of all, they saved your life twice. And because of them, Hamu was allowed to kill Captain Joke. Are you seriously that ungrateful? You freaking brat. It pissed me off.
Yeah. A curse has been plaguing their town for 10 years.
And they helped break it, and they're like, oh, who cares? Like, fuck you. See if anyone ever saves you again, you ungrateful bitch. Jeez. She was.
No one's ever going to, because no one ever sees these people again. They're probably corpses themselves by the time skip.
Probably.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
They killed the monsters, so how'd they get in their food?
That's a good point.
Starve.
Yeah.
Austen, you get worse scene now.
Okay,
This might be hard because I can't think of any other bad scenes.
Okay, well,
there's one right after that though, but go ahead.
Well, Hamu is just sending a bunch of bottles in the updraft current, and Maroi just tells him to stop because it's hopeless and all that.
That scene.
Yeah, that was a bad scene because that's a bad thing to say to a child who's holding on to hope.
This special should just be renamed Maroi is a bitch.
Yeah.
If there was enough characters, I would go with that.
She's legitimately the worst.
Okay. Now,
and
what's the
now,
next category again?
The next category is best fight. Although, were there too many fights in this one? Should we skip these in this special?
I think we should, because really there was only 3 major fights, and that was between the 3 monsters.
Only 3.
Okay, so for this category and this special and this special only, we are skipping best fight and worst fight because there really wasn't a terrible lot.
Which is a shame.
Like, yeah, they fought the monsters, but they were very, very quick.
Yeah, it wasn't drawn out, and the resolution was just a little too easy.
So the next category is review the villainy of the villain, and we've already delved deep in this one. But Rudy, you may reiterate how villainous was this villain?
He was not villainous. He was more of just a jerk and kind of annoying. Like, I think the reason they name him Captain Joke is because of his freaking laugh. It's so annoying. He doesn't have any gravitas to him. He's not that interesting to look at either. He's not like Captain Buggy, who so far is my favorite like One Piece villain, but it's like he's really just lame and underwhelming.
And he got a cooler design when he
That's
died.
True. Much cooler when he died because he became a skeleton.
I was half tempted to do that during that, but I didn't want to scare anybody.
So yeah, the villain was just super underwhelming. It's like the least you could have given us was like maybe either make him really like a murderous asshole or make him super camp. You could have given us one or the other.
Or give him a devil fruit power.
Yeah, give him something.
Yeah.
Again, dude's just there.
That's usually what the characterless villains usually get. It's like, well, they're lame, but at least you have a cool power.
Exactly.
But Oda's pretty strict with like what characters get what devil fruit power because like he has like the final say. It's like, yeah, like when they come up with a power for a non-canon character, it's like I wasn't going to use that one. Go ahead.
That actually kind of makes sense.
So that's usually because in the series only one character can have a specific power, and the only way for someone to inherit that power is like they have to die and the fruit will grow back somewhere else.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is no characters that have the same exact powers. So they're pretty limited, but that's no excuse for Captain Joke from being Captain Joke.
Yeah, literally. And like, I think the thing is like if this had been, this like, as you guys can tell, this was a little underwhelming for us. It's like the least they could have done was just make the villain interesting, because sometimes a really fun and like unique villain can take something that's crap and elevate it just a little bit.
And One Piece is generally very good at that, but this time they shit the bed. Austen, how would you rate the villainy of the villain, unless it's basically on the same level of what we're saying?
Let's see. Yeah, the first time we see him, he fucking dies, and he spends most of his special as a pet. And yeah, he was pretty lame. I'll give him Captain Barbossa out of Ghost Pirate LeChuck.
Barbossa and LeChuck trounce him easy.
Oh, totally.
Don't compare them.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, you now.
He's a Helmeppo out of Arlong.
Like, again, it was just like it just really sucks that the villain was just so underwhelming, and it kind of dragged the special down.
Yeah, like I think I already took my turn, but basically Rudy and Jad are just echoing what I think. It's just like it's a non-canon filler villain. What do you want me to say? What was his power? His power was gun.
Yeah, that was it. He had a big old gun.
And like the coolest thing that happened to him was he died. So that's not
saying much.
And then next is our semifinal categories. Rate the opening and ending. And the opening and the ending is literally just since you guys probably won't be watching the anime through this show because we're not doing that. We're doing the manga and the specials. We're rating the opening and ending of the special, which is Believe by Folder 5 for the opening and Run, Run, Run by, I forget the artist for the second opening. Do you guys have any thoughts about the opening and ending or no?
Nah.
I thought they were both really good songs. Very catchy.
I like the ending.
Oh, yeah, I prefer
Run,
the
Run,
ending.
Run is really good.
I prefer the ending a bit more than the opening, but they were both really good songs. They weren't like, annoying, or they didn't like, and they fit, like the One Piece vibe. So I think they were both really good songs.
Maki Otsuki, the same artist who did the Memories opening from the first ending of the series. Okay. So yeah, no wonder it was good because it was by the same person who did the first ending. And if you watch the anime, get ready to put up with Believe in Wonderland for a very long time. It is the opening for almost the entire saga that Austin and you and I are starting now. But before they switch it to a really good one. So that brings us to our final category. Where does this rate on the fruit score? So first but not for our category is Rudy, our guest. She will get to rate this special overall and give it wherever score she wants.
I'm gonna have to give it a 1. We know One Piece can be good. It's one of the longest running series ever made, and then it just gave us this. So it's like there's really nothing salvageable here. So a 1.
This is what you cap the year off with,
yeah,
really?
A 1.
A 1 out of...
A 1 out of 10.
There's no... There's no rules to the score. That's my thing here. The only rule to the score on this special episode is there are no rules to the score. Austen, how about you?
This is why a lot of filler stuff in anime is always forgettable. Like a bunch of characters we'll never see again, no real stakes, very unmemorable moments. I give it a Bleach filler arc out of whatever the fuck was going on between Naruto Part 1 and Part 2.
God damn, that's saying a lot because that big filler arc in Bleach is fucking atrocious. The Bound arc is like infamous how bad it is because of how long it is too. I'm gonna have to. I'll give it a 2. That's about it. A 2 out of a 2 fruits out of nothing. I don't care. It's clear that they didn't care all that much, and I don't either. The villain was lame. He died before we even got to meet him, and he had a badass death. It was just a second death.
Yeah.
The best thing I can say about it is the companion character, while not as cool as Medaka from the OVA special, he got to kill the villain, but that's not saying much when the villain was lame as shit.
It didn't take that much to kill him.
So yeah. See, this is getting 1 piece out of 10.
Oh damn!
I changed my score the more I thought about it. Like, no, this special sucks. But that's gonna do it for this review of Luffy Falls: The Adventure in the Ocean's Navel. And Rudy, thank you for joining us as your first time on here. I promise to have you on for something better.
Okay, I still had a lot of fun. This was so much fun.
Yeah, we
loved it.
might have you on for another one of these specials, but I specifically want you and Austen for one of the movies because it fits the podcast you guys have.
It does.
And speaking of which, Rudy, where can everybody find you at if they'd like to see more from you?
We are on Spotify, and I think we're on Apple, and we're also on we're also on Amazon. So just search for What the F Was That, and you'll find us.
Yep, I was on the Christmas episode, and I think I'll be on for a couple more at some point. Yep.
Oh hell yeah!
And Austen, as you is also a co-host on that podcast. And Rudy, you also stream too.
Yes, I do. You can find me on Twitch at RootbeerCutieBooty, and I also have a YouTube I'm currently working with my friend. It's called Hero and Rudy, all one word.
Oh. All right, and as you guys know, me and Jad are also on Super Bonus Round. I believe this is going up in October, so Spooky Bones Round is going on right now. So. We're currently going through Resident Evil 5. We did a full playthrough of Luigi's Mansion with Rich. And Rudy will actually be on Super Bonus Round for Spooky Bones as well, because it's probably already out now, but we're doing a playthrough of Doki Doki Literature Club. Me and Rudy know all about this game. Austen knows nothing.
Just Monica. Only Monica.
Look forward to that. So thank you guys again so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time for episode 24 of the podcast, where me and Austen will begin the next saga with chapters 101 to 105. Thank you once again, Rudy, for coming on. We will definitely have you on. If not for that movie special that I plan on having you on, we'll probably have you on again for another, hopefully a better special or movie than this.
Sounds good.
I definitely want to have you for movie 6. That's a Mamoru Hosoda film that people need to see.
All right, I look forward to it.
So with that said, everyone, I've been John Mugiwara JM.
I'm Jad
And I'm ready.
And we'll see you guys next time. Remember, when binging the devil's fruit, it's better to take your time consuming it, or else you will choke and not enjoy it. Have a good one, y'all. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
They can drown and starve. Fuck this special. Thank you for binging The Devil's Fruit with us today. If you'd like to enhance your binging experience even further, for just $3 a month, not only do you get access to episodes 1 week before they go live for the public, you also get exclusive access to our commentary tracks for our One Piece anime movie special reviews on our Patreon. The review episodes themselves will always be free to all listeners, but if you want the commentary tracks, that's patreon.com/superbonusround. Thanks for your support.